Should you get an air purifier for your parrot? Let's find out in this video. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm David and today we're talking about air purifiers again because I have had a lot of questions recently about if it's worth investing in an air purifier for your parrots. We feel it is very useful, especially if you have a powdery down or dusty bird, and I thought I'd explore the topic again with you today. And luckily Levoit kindly sent me a 100S, which is one of their smaller air purifiers to test out, and I'd like to give a big thanks to Levoit for doing so. We're going to explore some of its functions as well as why it's actually worth having for basically your bird or other pets as well. So let's start off by why is it actually worth getting an air purifier for your parrot or other animal. Generally, let's just stick to parrots because it's more important. I don't really want to give advice on other animals who I don't deal with on a regular basis. With parrots, a lot of them are powdery down, for example African greys or cockatiels, which produce dust and that will go into the environment. Similarly, even if your bird isn't a powdery down one, even our conures produce dust, especially when they're molting. And that can be irritating, especially if you have any allergies or maybe if you have asthma, or generally just making the environment a little bit less pleasant for you. With an air purifier, that scrubs the air, it makes it a lot cleaner and fresher and generally better. The other thing that's useful is your parrots have a very sensitive respiratory system, so having an air purifier will help with that. If there are other allergens or problems in the air, it will help scrub those and generally make things a bit better for your parrot's welfare too. We have a 400S which we use in the living room, much bigger, and I wouldn't say better, just much bigger, and we find that very useful for our living room space. And now we have this 100S, the smaller version. We're going to have it in our bedroom because we do bring the parrots in here occasionally and we want to make it as good an environment for us and them as possible. So as I mentioned, the Levoit 100S is a little bit smaller than its bigger cousin, the 400S. However, I have noticed that the fan strength is very strong on it. It blows a lot of air and it's quite cooling. So that could be kind of useful in summer if you want to save a little bit on those electricity bills with fans. It has some similar functions to the 400S in that it has the ring which will tell you the air quality, although it doesn't have the numbers. So generally they recommend that you buy the app, get the app for free. You don't have to buy it at all. Download the app and it will give you the numbers on there. We didn't find that was necessary. The coloured ring is good enough for us. When it's red it's very bad, orange is not so good, yellows, greens not bad at all, and blue, which we always see in our house, is okay. So keep that in mind when you're using it. And also, if you do get yourself an air purifier like this one, make sure you take the plastic off the filter before you start using it. Otherwise you can have some problems and it won't work at all. Get that plastic off the filter, install it properly, and make sure you don't stumble on that, because I had a message the other day on Instagram saying your purifier doesn't work, and I was like, did you take the plastic off? They were like, oh. So keep that in mind too when you're using it. Now, an air purifier works by basically scrubbing the air through a filter, sucking in the air, passing it through the filter, and then blowing out clean air. Very, very simple concept with a giant fan inside. What's useful about Levoit products and why we like them is they're generally very reliable, and also they come with a true HEPA filter, which is very important that you get for your parrot, rather than one that doesn't have this basic qualification for it. It is the standard for air purifier filters, and it's the one you want to go for. Other thing to keep in mind about it is you don't really want a purifier of an ionizer. This one does not have one because ionizers can be dangerous, and that's good as well. What I like about 100S as well is it's small, so it fits into smaller areas a lot better, but it still has quite a lot of power behind it, which is very useful. It has the usual features like nighttime mode, different settings, obviously the ring which I talked about, and one thing I did quite like is during nighttime mode, the light sort of turns itself off automatically. So what will happen is you'll turn it on, the light dims, the thing turns off, all you have to do is touch it and turn it back on. So it's not going to be intrusive or glowing brightly if you want to run it towards the end of the evening when your bird wants to get some sleep or is getting into its nighttime roosting routine. Also with these guys, that's again why we kind of like Levoit and why we purchased from them long before they started giving us freebies, is it's quite easy to change the filters as well. Some you have to do this like real palaver to get the filter off, especially with this one. Unclip the front, slide it out, replace it, take the plastic off, put it back in, clip it all back together, and you've got a fully functioning purifier again. The same with our 400S, very simple and easy to change. And also something else you can do if you want to replace your filters a little bit less frequently is hoover them out as well, which will extend their life a little bit longer. So just in summary, it's worth getting an air purifier for your parrot. We highly recommend one. If you have a large space, the 400S is probably a better shout from Levoit. If you have a normal sort of living room size, the 100S is perfectly adequate for it. Again, thank you Levoit for providing this to test out. We're going to be having ours in our bedroom for when the parrots come in here. Remember, go for a true HEPA filter, which Levoit provide. Make sure you do take the plastic off and read the instructions thoroughly. And do make sure that if you do have any allergies and the like, you strongly consider it, because it can make an impossibility of owning a parrot a possibility if you're quite careful and you run it regularly. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear from you down below. But in the meantime, take care and see you later.